So this is a follow-up on the upload I did in regards to Mr. President and the pacifier, the American pacifier, the new American pacifier to quiet and comfort a lot of rebellious Americans. Not everybody. I know not everybody, but a lot. So I have to be consistent, even if it's just not going to be popular. Nonetheless, I have to be consistent and try to tell the truth, at least as much truth as I know. I realize I don't know everything. Okay, so finally, my day is finally over, and beautiful day. But this right here, during the middle of the day, actually, I hear this declaration about Mr. President. I do believe he might be genuine. I think in earnest RFK is. I actually think, especially as the father of a son who has had adversity, has experienced his share of adversity, I think he's sincere. Nonetheless, I think even he knows. If I were to say anything different, it would not be consistent. And the first sign of a lie is inconsistency. So I'm either consistently wrong or I'm consistently right. But one thing I am not on this channel is inconsistent. So once again, I said in another video, America's status is treacherous. I said that I made a prediction in a video preceding that, I believe the day before, that there is animosity towards those who supposedly are worthless, like disabled, elderly, the very young, like in the belly, fetuses, babies inside the mother's womb, children in general. I mentioned older people, disabled people, etc., etc., the poor. And then there's like a general strata, like I believe in that regard. But nonetheless, that's what it seems. That's what I said. I stand on it until further notice. Then that seemed like, now some might say that confirmation bias. I think the event that happened was quite extraordinary, not in a good way, but extraordinary. It's not. When was the last time you heard of a homeless encampment being shot up? Like literally never. So I'm not sure how that fits into confirmation bias. I understand what confirmation bias is, but how can you say that's not an extraordinary event? I've literally never heard, I'm 43 years old, I've never heard of a homeless encampment being shot up. I'm sure that maybe it happened, but it's such a rare event. Can you name one other time? It's extraordinary. Let's be intellectually honest. It is extraordinary. It happened the day after I made the prediction. Nonetheless, I'm not certain that many people outside of people who are directly impacted actually care, and that also includes the grift of the people who make a lot of receive a lot of monetary benefit off of the disabled, the elderly, the poor. It's a whole entire grift for the American government and private companies. I said it. Once again, for the love of everything beautiful, I'm not talking about every single individual. There has to be like one honest person in a group of 15. Clearly. Else I might as well just stop, because obviously if all people are completely jerks, then that makes me an undercover jerk, correct? I mean, it would have to be. So clearly I'm making room for the one person that's the diamond in the rough, that it's not a grift. But for a lot of people, it's a racket. Just accept it. It is. It's a total racket grift. Okay? Nonetheless, I'm with him on the vaccines. But like I said, I don't, in regards to the vaccines, once again, consistency. I said nature and nurture combination. For some, once again, consistent. I do believe that just like some are born with not enough fingers, not enough toes, some are born sick, you know, that is another form that a baby could be born sick. But some babies, and the medical, I don't think, see, unfortunately, this is one of, I'm not going to say it's an impossibility because that's giving the devil too much credit. The Lord already is very well aware of the Antichrist system and the many Antichrists within the system, as well as in the church. He's already aware of the apostasy and all that stuff. He's more aware than we are, quite frankly. And he's the one that told us that all these things would happen. But it will be, unfortunately, autism, because it's not because of the nature of it, it will be, I think it will continue along with the beast system, unfortunately, unless the Lord comes and does the work himself. And I don't necessarily see him doing that. I think it's going to be one of those things where the devil just, he just keeps his hand there, because there's no, and I'm not saying people won't be healed or something. Please try to understand. I'm trying to explain a deep concept, but it's one of those things where the enemy, reason why he is able to get in the first place is because the very nature of the illness. And if it is true what I am saying, then the illness itself is in many cases a product of his work, using also environmental factors and people. And until that is faced, which I'm trying to tell you, I'm not naive. It's one of those, it's no other, the only more controversial, see, I think the problem too is it will never be an admission, a formal admission that autism has become, it shouldn't be, right? Because most people who want to have an opinion, and quite frankly, I've never been offended, and I pray I don't become offended just out of frustration. I mean, I'm human, but I have to stay before God, to have the right heart posture always. But people will like press you. Like, that's one of the biggest things beyond Satan in this life. Self, Satan. It's never God. Self, Satan is other people. Okay? Unfortunately, even though we're all supposed to be our brother's keeper, typically we're committing crimes on each other or getting on each other's last nerves. Worst case, on purpose. Making each other stumble on purpose. Unfortunately. And the thing with it is because of there's few, AIDS is one of those illnesses where it is extremely controversial. And yet, though, a lot of the truth has come out about AIDS and how you get AIDS. And we know that some honest people, but we know that this is a small group of people. If you are honest, they go into to do a beautiful thing and donate blood. They decent people who are not doing anything wrong, old people, married people who love their spouses, happily married, not cheating, go in to donate some blood to save lives. And then the nasty hospital, a nasty hospital puts a nasty needle on a perfectly decent human being. That is so disgusting, and gives the person AIDS. But we know that that is not the majority of cases. Let's not be deluded. We know how a lot of people get the virus. Okay? And it's not by like just giving hugs in church. Come on, please. It's not by sitting next to someone on the bus. We know how most people are getting that virus. So let's be real. But we know every now and then a little baby, oh God forbid, is born with it. The baby did nothing wrong. We know that sometimes a decent person, 1 out of 100, goes in to give blood in some nasty hospital, puts a nasty needle in them, and gives them AIDS. But that's few and far in between. That's not how most people get it. Well, you know what is the AIDS of the 2020s? Autism. People don't want to admit it. Just like it took people forever to be honest about about AIDS. It's taking people forever to be honest about autism, because autism is not cut and clear. It is extremely controversial, and no one wants to admit it because people are cowards. It's extremely controversial because if you have to take responsibility for the environment that the child is in, including like when you have no control. Like at one point we were living in a shelter. Does that make it not true? Just because something is not convenient, just because something is something you cannot control, does not make it true. A lie. And until people stop BSing with themselves, they can't stop BSing with other people. They can't stop BSing in the church and in the medical community and in the politics. They can't do it because you have to stop lying to yourself before you stop lying to everybody else. If you believe the lie, that's all you have to offer other people is some bull. Autism is the new AIDS when it comes to controversy. The reasons scale many reasons, just like there are various reasons why people were contracting the AIDS virus in different ways. And people they wanted to put it close to their vest and, don't say that and don't say that. You can't get to the truth like that. And the thing that is, most people don't have autistic children, but here's the thing, right? Like, I feel like when even and you have to wrap your mind around a parent who may not want to hear. And you have to like ask yourself, is that possible? I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes, it's possible. Does a parent want to hear? Maybe it's because you were smoking. Maybe it's because you were doing weed. Maybe it's because you had different partners. Sometimes even when you were pregnant. Is it because of the screaming and the shouting, colic, frustration? Then the babies go through a natural battery of a healthy baby doesn't go through all that, but they go through a natural succession of shots. They do. The battery of shots. Then don't add colic on the mix. Then don't add an environment that's cold, an environment that's hot. You take them to an environment that people are screaming, people are shouting. You take them to an environment you're going through a legal system. You're going to the shelters, and people are too fake to say that back in the day, and I'm being redundant, people knew you get pregnant, you either should already, first of all, you should be saved, Christian, and married. Okay? This is a godly channel. Believe it or not. Surprise. It's not a surprise. All of my stuff says that. It screams that for the most part. But back in the day, people knew. They had common sense. Oh my goodness, you're pregnant. We have to be married. We have to have a house. We have to have a white picket fence. We have to at least do the bare minimum for a growing child. I let you not. It's like we've been hit. This generation been hit with a stupid stick. Am I saying that would cure and prevent every child? That would make, I think even I believe that would make me a huge liar. That's disingenuous, because I know some people, that's exactly what they did. But am I saying in many cases, and yes, I said many, in many cases, would that have had, that person would always have maybe some tendencies, but they would be fully functional and not diagnosed with something? I am standing on business. Yes, because I'm not about the bull, and I'm not a coward. Just because, I'm going to say it again, just because it touches the reasons that, like, and I feel, I'm going to say this much because I do believe this about the man. I believe this about Mr. President. If he just knew, I believe he is the type of man, he would say it. The thing is, he doesn't know. He's not God. He doesn't have proof. They gave his people, whoever it is, and I believe that they actually, some of them, if not all of them, are actually doing it in good faith. They came up with the Tylenol thing. I feel bad for Tylenol. And I'm not going to say, because once again, because even if one child, because I'm not like the grifters, I'm not trying to get rich off sick people. Okay? If one child is harmed by any medicine, that is devastation for all of us. I am my brother's keeper. I'm real. I'm legitimate. I'm an actual parent. No one makes me parent. I parent because I know I'm supposed to, and I actually like it. I enjoy it. But nonetheless, okay, the people who cannot, I'm speaking for a group of people, not just mine. I'm not Cain, like Minnie, or Grifter, like Minnie, who don't care about, they don't give a damn about no sheep. That's not who I am. I stand on business. I put action behind my words. That's why I don't have hardly any time to do the YouTube these days, because I have a whole house that I got to take care of until school is out, at least. Then I still got to take care of it, but this school day won't be like the issue. But nonetheless, this is a vulnerable group of people that I will not stop speaking for, even if it offends even the parents. And I also, yes, part of me, it's a delicate balance, because some of these parents, they are beautiful people and they're going through enough. I'm not a dimwit. They're going through enough, but others of them, just like all strata people, as controversial as it sounds, having a disabled child or family member does not necessarily just automatically put you into the awesome person category. You were a jerk before, and worst case scenario, you're still a jerk. You just happen to be the parent or a family member of a disabled person. That's it. I said it. And yes, I'm also going to, you might also have contributed to it. They tell us, and then they dance around, and I am frustrated, because you know what? The system that y'all are always like worshiping, like they never give you crap and tell you that it's filet mignon when they do it every day in your face. Then people like me, nobodies like me, tell you the truth. And y'all want to scrutinize the truth up, down, all around with 32 tests. 7 ways from Sunday. But the people who spit in your face and lie to you on the daily, y'all be worshiping what they say. Make it make sense. They will tell you the sky is purple on one day, blue on another day, and aquamarine with polka dots on it the next day. I consistently say the sky is blue, the sky is blue, the sky is blue. Like, well, you know, who are you affiliated with again? Like, where do you go? Like, what education do you have that you know that the sky is blue? So I feel as though some people, unfortunately, it's like, I do realize this, that what I have said could cause waves between people. But here's also what I have to say. The Lord already tells us how to deal with other people. He tells us how to deal with adversity. He tells us how to deal with when we are wronged. He tells us how to forgive. He tells us how to be courageous. He tells us how to make a stand. He tells us how to evade a dangerous situation in his Proverbs that is obviously imminent. Throughout his word, he gives us basic instructions before leaving life and what to do in this life. And this is no different. I say once again, the level of controversy is getting in the way of the truth. And the only way something can become that controversial is people. So yes, I stand on business as a real parent. If adults would get out the way, if their egos would take a seat, if your attitudes would take a break so that we could help the children, that would be an amazing thing. No, I'm not saying we could prevent like all autism, especially that's not consistent with the fact that some are born with autism. At that, you're just believing God for a healing. In all cases, you believe God for a healing. But in that case, you have to, certainly, because it's not an environmental factor. That baby was showing signs, symptoms as it came out of, the womb. So you should go straight to healing, because it's not necessarily, if that's how it was at the Genesis, it's not necessarily anything that happened environmental, but no one wants to hear the environmental. And then a system that in and of itself causes the problem, because everybody is put on the same conveyor belt and people don't want to hear they messed up. But I'm like, if you know, like, I wonder if they're afraid to getting sued or something. But I'm like, everybody can't be sued. If everybody had a hand in it, it still doesn't make any sense. Now, possibly in the future, once it is, but I'm like, so you throw the kids, so not everybody, so you throw the sensitive, because that's what they are. You throw the most sensitive children in the trash, literally, like kind of literally, right? For the sake of what? Saving a few pennies? Possibly. It's even a speculation because there's nothing on the books now. So you hide the truth. Shame on the medical community. You hide the truth because you know that some children are more sensitive to others. Yet you continue to you keep them on the conveyor belt, knowing that child came out the womb screaming. That every time you see them, that's what they're doing. When they go home, like the mama cussing, daddy cussing and everything like that, send them to the halfway house shelter, wherever that they go. And I'm like, and y'all adults, to other adults that claim to have sense, that claim to be intelligent, look at each other and say, none of this has any impact on how the child's mentality will develop in this most formidable years between the ages of 0 and 7, when their personality is developing, when they're learning how to talk language. And you all get together. It's fake as hell. You all get together and say it has 0 impact. Lies. You're a bunch of liars. How can anybody... This is... I don't know if there's any other country doing this. I only know if all the other countries doing it. Oh, well, I guess I'm outnumbered then. I'm already outnumbered. But my goodness, America is the only one I know, because it's the only one I track because I live in America, where all of these so-called people who are educated tell this lie and say it with a straight face in the child's most impressionable, formidable years, where they can't even learn to talk without imitating their environment around them. And they say, oh, it's no big deal, it's no impact. And they, it's a controversial lie based upon not wanting to offend people that actually, I'm gonna say it. It's a autism. Unfortunately, the children suffer because autism is the new AIDS of 2020s. Autism is unnecessarily controversial, and it's adults, selfish adults, selfish, self-serving, grifting adults that make autism controversial. So we can't even help the babies. We can't save babies in the future with modifications so that people, so gentle parenting is some bull. I'm going to call it hypocrisy because it's hypocrisy times 100. I'm going to call your hypocrisy out. You will be faced with your hypocrisy. If you act like a hypocrite, I'm going to call you one. Gentle parenting is a waste of time then, right? Because why would you do gentle parenting if environment don't have nothing to do with nothing? What is the point? What's the point of giving birth in a bathtub and breastfeeding and kangaroo care if none of that matters? So we're a country full of hypocrites. Pick one. Pick a thought and stick with it. Don't be bouncing around in a way that is completely inconsistent. And how dare you say educated? How can you be educated and be so horrifically inconsistent? The only thing they are consistent about is being inconsistent. They are consistently inconsistent. They are reliably unreliable and consistently inconsistent. It's crazy. Y'all. Whew. What advice would I give? Let's say you one of the few people. You may not even like me. Or you may, look, I'm gonna be humble because everything ain't about me. The world does not revolve around me. Okay? So let's say you don't know who I am from diddly squat, but you have a loved one. Or you might be getting pregnant and you're like, well, is she gonna give? Here's the thing, because people are a realist wants an answer. That's when it's real. That's when it's real. I can't speak for everybody. But a realist wants an answer. So I'm pregnant right now. Is this lady going to say something in regards to what I can do to lessen my chances of this problem, of increasing my chances I will tell you. But you can completely dismiss it, but I'm going to give you free, pure advice. I'm not getting paid for what I'm about to share. That's almost one of the only ways you can know you could trust something these days. If someone's not getting paid to do it. Because everything else is suspect. Grifting. Cowards. Here's what you could do. And I'm going to tell it to you unapologetically. You can reject it or accept it. That's on you. First, and yes, I am and was saved, but that relationship with Jesus, it's not just an add-in to use or manipulate. No, that relationship with Jesus is very important. We're going to take it back to simplicity. I'm going to say that because it is the truth. Let's take it back to simplicity, to your forefathers and your foremothers. They knew instinctively, okay, a baby, a little itty bitty baby, a blank slate, a innocent person who ain't did nothing to nobody is about to come into this earth. We need to be married, and we need to act like we have some sense for the sake of this child. I mean it. You can't run from that. You can. Babies left and right, I believe, are getting way messed up off of this. Somebody say, well, I can be a completely stable and sound person without doing that. And I'm like, possibly, but I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell I'm gonna be real. Y'all frustrate the heck out of me sometimes. When I'm trying to like save your life, throw you a boat. I'm trying not to Leonardo DiCaprio you in the middle of the Atlantic, like on the Titanic. I'm not trying to do you like that. I'm trying to throw you a boat, throw you a life raft, but you won't take it. I'm trying to like help you not be that person if possible. In all cases, it's not with all cases, because the world is fallen, you know. If y'all follow my thing, I explain that, you know. But unfortunately, is this recording? I don't know if it's recording or not. I think it is, but I can't tell. Hopefully it is. I sure hope it is. But let me hold on. I'm sorry. It is recording. I had to check because I'm not trying to talk for nothing. I already know all this. I'm trying to tell you, like, it's literally like a house is burning, and you're telling the person, you need to get up out the house. It's burning and you are still in it. Why? Come out the house and they're still up in that joint. This is how it is. I'm trying to tell you, this is how it is. How I feel. Okay? When you question which y'all, oh my goodness. I just can't. Like, sometimes I'm like, were y'all drugged by the media? Were y'all like literally drugged? Did they ship y'all some drugs that y'all actually inject or shoot or ingest while you were watching them? Because it is so like hard to understand how they can have you so hooked, how they can lie to you so often, and y'all still believe in them over real people who obviously love their children and family members, over real accounts. But these heads, these talking heads, y'all, like, oh my goodness, you worship what they say. Like it's pure code, like it's the manna from the heavens. I'm like, over real people who are telling you real life stuff. I'm like, don't do that to yourself. I'm trying to tell you, I can't explain everything. I am still learning too. But I'm like, don't do that to the child, because I am trying to tell you, I know I may sound dramatic. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, at the risk of sounding dramatic, God didn't tell you to wait on him, to pray for his will. He didn't tell you to get saved, to fall in love with him, and all these other things will be added unto you. He didn't tell you don't go left without me, don't go right without me. He didn't tell you that your spouse must be saved. He didn't tell you they must be on fire for him before they even thinking about you. He didn't tell you that idolatry is wrong and idolatry is not permissible in either one of your hearts. You can't even be each other's idols or the child. He didn't tell you that you must be married to one wife, to one husband. He didn't tell you that a man is to leave his father and his mother and go and be cleaved unto his wife. He didn't just tell these things because he was bored one day and just was looking for something to do. He was telling you because he knew this was going to happen because of dangerous stuff. Like, I don't know, the difference between your child being perfectly healthy and your child being, I don't know, messed up for life. That's controversial, but somebody got to have the courage to say it, to spit it out and say it. He knows. It's a million. You think that autism is the only thing? We must pray like every day, especially if you sinned, because God is merciful. I'm trying to tell you, God will forgive you faster, quicker, and forever. Unlike people. Sometimes, like, people have a hard time forgiving themselves. God been done forgave them. But they have a hard time forgiving themselves. Then there's other people that they want to remind you what you did 10, 15, 13, 85 years ago. Been repented. But God threw it into the sea of forgetfulness. Never to mention it again. But I'm trying to tell you, it's not because he was bored. Because there's one of the things is the protection of God. Because the protection of God, we all need to be walking in honor and obedience to him and not rebellion to him. Because you don't know how many things are waiting. I said it. It sounds dramatic. Around the corner. Everybody think they got it going on until they don't. Because something they did not expect happened when they sinned, okay? There's a million reasons why God said to do it a certain way. A million. Do you have to experience every single one before you get a clue? God, in many cases, he doesn't want us to learn from experience, y'all. Experience can leave you infirmed. Experience can kill you. Experience can leave you injured, brutal, like bruised. Experience can suck. I'm trying to tell you, the good shepherd don't want you to learn everything by experience. He's called the good shepherd for a reason. Like, and I'm trying to tell you this too. So just keep that in mind for the baby. If you being a grown funky person, I said it because your baby can't say it. And if you're a good parent, you agree with me. The realist ones who are good parents, y'all agree with me. If us being grown and funky, if God don't want us to learn everything by experience, how much so for a itty bitty baby? And then you tell me with a straight face one more again, that environment don't have nothing to do with nothing. I feel I would never, please don't be violent. Don't do that, y'all. We're saved up in here. But I do wish that they would slap themselves. I would never. I'm not going to put my hands on nobody. At most, maybe my words, but I try to, if people are reasonable, I try to speak with them in kindness, But I'm not going to speak to a devil in kindness. I'm going to just let you know right now. But I'm not going to hate nobody. But if a person want to be the devil, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you like you, or not at all. I won't even recognize you. I try to usually speak to people in kindness, but you can't be speaking to everybody in kindness. So I said it. I know it seems oversimplified. But it's the sad part is some of the best advice in the world is the simplest advice in the world. And people don't take heed to it. It's also called common sense for a reason. But sadly, common sense ain't common no more. Like you're not cussing and fighting over the baby. You're not smoking and drugging over the baby. You're not allowing other people to do it. No, you can't indiscriminately everybody that date for 2 minutes you meet in my baby. No, you can't. Attachment issues, daddy issues, trust issues, molestation, food insecurity, insecurity in general, bad, just everything. And the people, what is it because of autism? What do you think? Like, look, the real question is how. Here's the better question. How is every child in America not autistic? That's the better question. By the grace of God. That's the real answer. That's the real question. And then that's the real answer. By the grace of God, every child in America, because every child in America practically should be. Should be. With what our funky environment throws at them. Everywhere. Every child practically in the United States, especially in places like DC, New York, they need to like no joke, unapologetically put out the numbers. But then that might, I don't know. I'm conflicted about that because I'm so protective of them. Not mine, like just mine. I'm talking about all of them. I'm so protective of them. I'm like, on one hand, I want the numbers to be put out because then it'll force people to stop being so hypocritical and lying. But at the same time, I'm really protective of this group of people. And I feel some type of way about their privacy. That's the thing. So I don't know. Part of me wants that information put out so people can stop frauding and lying and being so fake. And the other part of me, because I'm positive that the areas that have the most crime have the most autism. I said that. I mean it too. Standing on business with both feet, 10 toes down. Like it's the environment that's super, stressful and everything like that for adults. But yeah, like it's just so frustrating how can people, but the system what it is, the world is what it is. Adults are for a lot of part self-centered. Children, they get lost in the sauce because adults, and that's why I choose to be like really by myself a lot of times, because it's hard to, I find people who, a populace, I'm not inclined to be admiring. Like, in order for me to kind of be more curious about someone, to enter into a conversation or stuff like that, there has to be like either like a commonality or a similarity or an admiration. And that one thing, perhaps it's not so much admiration typically, because usually people are around peers and stuff like that, but that would be one thing for me. But it does not exist in a place where I know people are so self-centered that the children are just lost in the abyss somewhere. They're to be, the children are kind of like to be in the background, so they exist, but they conveniently just exist and until it's convenient for them to be seen. Then they all of a sudden just disappear into the background. Like I don't even know a good example of that, I don't know a good example of that, because it's just the weirdest phenomenon, right? Like it's just so strange, it's bizarre. So that they exist, but when the conversation comes about government and finances, where they should put all the millions and billions of dollars and stuff, they all of a sudden they don't exist no more. And then when it comes to like crime and stuff like that, what's so convenient? The children don't exist anymore. Like, I could have swore This vulnerable population doesn't just magically disappear when all the crime breaks out and stuff. Like, because I guess if we were to not magically make them disappear, which I'm sure they can't, so you have to kind of just pretend like you don't see them. You have to face that all of this is happening right up under the children. And that your populace is trifling as hell. And I guess that some are too cowardly, some are too guilty and complicit, and parents may be too embarrassed for all of those three categories of adults to spit it out and tell the truth. Because maybe then they would have to do something about something rather than just talk about it all the time and pretend to care so much while nothing changes nothing. So maybe it's so funny how the very people that you think you would want to solicit what they have to say because they are right there at the helm with first world experience of it, you don't want that person to come to the conversation. That is so funny. Right? Is it because you feel that there's nothing that we could contribute to say? Or are you scared of what we might actually say? Because then you might actually have to do something. As a matter of fact, the whole community might have to do something. But then, you know what? I ain't even gonna, look, God don't force y'all, and I can't force you. God could force you. But he not forcing you. He letting y'all be as trifling as you want to be. And yes, every time you get in your little community groups and you do your little medical tests and medical studies and get in your little social groups and do your little church thing and all that good stuff and pat yourselves in the back and tell yourselves y'all great and wonderful and doing everything. Every time y'all do that and do the crime rates and statistics and where you put your finances and the money and all that stuff, the children completely, they all of a sudden don't even exist. It's like I ain't seen the greatest when Jesus said this and greater shall ye do. Maybe he was referencing these people, y'all, because y'all gotta be some fantastic miracle workers, because the whole population of children just disappear when money started exchanging hands. Kids just be disappearing left and right. When it's time to put your money where your mouth is, children just vanish. When people talking about the crime in the streets, the crime in transportation, and the crime everywhere, the children just completely, they've already been raptured. It's like Jesus walking on the water would be jealous. He turned around and be like, how do y'all so conveniently make millions of children completely disappear right when they are the ones that need to be mentioned in the conversation, and not a single red-blooded adult even bring them up for consideration? Make it make sense. They disappear. Jesus would be jealous. He's like, I walked on water, but y'all, I've never made an entire group of people just vanish until a meeting was over. And then all of a sudden, when the meeting is over and the money is off the table, the money already been spent, the funds already been spent, the resources already done been used up and everything like that, and the crime talk is over, all of a sudden, oh, what about the children and all that stuff? Man, you know what? I can't with y'all. I can't. I'm sorry. I promise you, I'm a loving person. But American people, yo, your ways frustrate the hell out of me, yo. Like, it's your ways, yo. Y'all got some ways about you that I don't fully understand. I don't even know if I want to fully understand them. I'm like, you know what? One thing I will not be doing is trauma bonding with y'all. You see how I don't be doing that on this channel, regardless of how my babies. But I will not be trauma bonding off my babies with y'all. I do not do the fake. If you don't know us personally, you ain't breaking bread with us personally, face to face, there would be none such thing. Okay? Because I do not do fake. I do not do fake. I do not facilitate fake. I do not encourage fake. There's nothing about fake on this channel. Okay? So every day I try to maximize. Like, I don't have full control over everything, but I also don't make my babies disappear. You daggone right. If there is a situation in which funds available, etc., I will bring my babies up for consideration. You know who doesn't magically make babies disappear when there's resources around? Me. Now, we know people ain't throwing money and resources like that. But you know, if they did, because I have sense and I love my sons, I would be like, you know, Jonathan and Joseph, I think would love to have that resource, or qualify for these computers or whatever. Just mention random things, you know. But I'm definitely not gonna make my babies disappear and vanish for nobody. For nobody. And I feel like the American population, y'all think y'all cute with that. I don't think it's cute at all. I don't think it's cute at all. If you're not going to, matter of fact, if you're not, when the money comes out and the budget come out, if you're not going to mention my babies, at that point, don't mention my babies at all. Yeah, I said that. I said that. People need to stand up for your babies, yeah? Stand up for, I'm sorry, didn't mention me to use slang. Stand up for your babies. Stand up for everybody's babies. Forget that. Stand up for all, because I'm want to stand up. Yeah, because I know some babies don't, you know, some of the parents is trying to, you know, become better parents, and some of the parents are not going to parent. And I'm not just looking out for my baby, I'm looking out for all the babies, okay? So if you don't have nothing to say when money is being passed out, resources are being passed out, keep your mouth shut off my baby's names. You don't need to say, because when it matters the most, you don't speak my child's name. So keep my child name out your mouth completely. You have nothing. You get no vote. I'm gonna start doing the media and the government like a deadbeat dad. And I have no apologies for that. Like, it's my job. It's my God-given job to watch out for my sons, okay? And I plan on doing my job, and I don't apologize for that. If you don't have nothing to say, if my baby's names don't part from your lips when money is leaving your hand or your program, don't talk their name. Don't so much as utter the sound of their name out your mouth at any other time, because I don't do the fake. So I know some of you are growing. You're growing in your courage. You're growing in your advocacy. You're growing possibly in common sense. But I will not have my babies treated like that. And I feel bad for the American people. I feel like Mr. President is one who has done actually the most. But I feel bad that you elect leaders that when they passing out the funds, when they passing out the money, your child get no consideration whatsoever. And I'm like, what parent tolerates that? So it is what it is, y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all alone because obviously I feel some type of way, y'all. Like, I obviously, you say you want people to like be passionate and be real, and then that's what I'm giving you right now. I'm about to go to bed. I do desperately, like, I need my rest. You might be wondering how, Clearly, I'm up longer than I'm supposed to be. I need to go to bed. I need to get my rest. I do bust my butt. Mondays are brutal, especially. Okay, thank God Tuesdays, I'm doing this because Tuesdays are usually a gift from God, where it's Tuesday is just so much, Tuesdays are so much easier than Mondays, right? But I it was worth it, y'all, because just keep in mind, because I know everybody's not ready, but keep in mind what I said. Keep it tucked in a note in your heart, because I'm not playing with that. I'm not telling you because it's American tradition. Your channel should tell you what I think about tradition and what y'all can do with your traditions. If you know what I mean. Okay? I'm not telling you because I'm just trying to sneak Jesus in. No. I'm not trying to just sneak Jesus into conversation. I'm not just trying to do a trend, you know, traditional thing or whatever. No. But it is an excellent idea to put your baby on the best course possible. Because if you get a sensitive baby, and yes, she keeps using this word sensitive. We don't hear that in the medical community. For the longest time, what do you call it? Racism based on genetics. I can't think of the word, but it was a whole science. A whole science. Like, y'all putting too much stock. I'm not saying that doctors don't have their place, scientists don't have their place, psychiatrists don't have their place. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you put away, like, I feel like it's wrong. Yes, I do. When your common sense, your eyes, your ears, your common sense, when you are starting to deny your common sense off of what a doctor says, then it's wrong. Then it's wrong. Your gut, your eyes, your ears, your personal experience, all of that, you throw it out the window on a doctor. Like, is that your idol? Is that your God? Is the doctor your God? Seriously, because they wouldn't do you know that they update their information? Do you know, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because we all should learn. But do you know they're constantly learning? They're constantly being trained. They're constantly doing studies behind the, well, if they're good, if you have a competent doctor, they're doing studies behind the scene. They're reading each other's material so that they can get better. So what does that mean? Well, if you're thinking, it means maybe there's something they don't know. They used to support racism, for goodness sake. Hitler used the medical community to justify the Holocaust, for goodness sake. They did experiments on black people. Y'all stay stuck. And then when I say it's environmental, it's like y'all don't want to put the pieces together. If the child is already stressed out and you keep stressing the system out, I'm trying to tell you, keep stressing the system out. You don't slow the vaccines down. But it's not the vaccine. But if it's a contributing factor to a child that is already stressed out, they got into the world 2 minutes ago. Common sense. I'm trying to tell you, Americans' children are being lost because America has no common sense. That's why. It's not the only reason why. I'm sorry. I apologize. Because there's various reasons why, but that is unfortunately a huge reason why. Because the American populace has no common sense. Y'all are waiting for a doctor to tell you what your common sense should be telling you. What the Holy Spirit should be what he doesn't fail. What he is, if you belong to him, he is telling you. He's screaming it. and you're ignoring him. God is not responsible for the truth he tells you that you pretend you can't hear. When he tells you you need to have a peaceful home and you just want to fight with your family members over top of the baby, when he tells you you need to play peaceful music, not all the racket, but no, you want the child that is conveniently disappears when it's convenient and then appears when it's time for family photos. Like God is never and God is kind. I'm trying to tell you, he is kind and he is loving, but he is never going to be responsible for what he told you that you completely ignored. And that is also regarding your children, which that does hurt, because any good parent, any good human being, don't even have to be a parent, that would hurt. Like, you mean that I could have did something in some cases? That's called consequence. That's called life and consequence and reality. That's exactly what it means. But keep believing the lie. Keep believing the lie that every case is completely unavoidable. And that God just gave America a massive amount of children that can't talk, can't think, and just because he just hates America so much. And he just hates children so much that he just puts half of them to be autistic and sick. Not be able to join the armed forces. Not be able to secure a job. What they going to do when they get older? Boom, 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 boom. Not be able to contribute to the economy. Well, they do. I won't even say that. Grift. So they can be grift. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. But it's a whole racket. Government racket. The people can grift off of. People make money off all these sick children and people. They eventually grow up in adults. They can the racket, make money off of that too. So it actually works if they don't get better. That's why it's called a grift, a racket. And the thing is, when something makes so much money, like all the money, because it's becoming endemic, y'all. And you can't see the spiritual attack because of sin, y'all. You would think if anything would make you want to be a decent person, if anything make you be more humble, if anything make you think twice, you would think it would be your own child. You know what? I don't like this chick, but I do want what's best for my baby. So y'all, look, I gotta go to bed. While I have less work to do tomorrow, I definitely have work to do tomorrow. Because I intend to have my babies live the best life I can give them. And I'm always trying to figure out how I can, do better, do right by the souls, their living souls that God has entrusted to me. And I plan on doing my job and doing it well. One thing I have to do is get rest in order I can do that. But I also wanted to put this video out, not only for mine, but for all of y'all's and for babies who don't exist yet. Lest one woman, one man who listens to this and actually takes it to heart and be like, you know what? I don't even know if she's right or not. But it doesn't hurt to try that. because she sounds as if she knows what she's talking about. If my baby seems real stressed out, I'm going to protect my baby. I'm going to do what I feel is the right thing by my baby. If I have to move my location, if I have to marry someone who is not American, if I have to go to another school district, homeschool, refuse to marry a woman if she refuses to homeschool, if I have to change my job, if I have to know I'm in love, because I will not even get a woman pregnant unless I'm married to her. Because I do believe that this woman is not playing on this internet. Not about this, not in this upload. I will not allow nobody to fight over top of my child. I don't care that they think, well, the baby's only a few months old. It's not like it understands what anybody's saying. I will kick them out my house. I will not allow nobody smoke around over my child. I'm going to check my, small thing. I'm going to check my air purifier. Get the air purified in this house. My wife is about to give birth in a few weeks. I'm going to get the air purified in this house. I'm going to make sure this house don't got no mold in it for my baby to be breathing in. Before, as soon as I find out she is pregnant, we might even have to move. This place isn't good enough. Oh yeah, this place, we're not playing. This is our baby. This place ain't good enough. It might have mold. It might have lead. The baby was screaming at the shots. I told the doctor we won't be coming back until like a month after the recommended time frame to give the baby a chance to get over the first experience, because we want the baby to not be too stressed out. And if this is the way that it's going to be, our baby's going to be at every single appointment, I'm going to tell the doctor to make them spaced out as possible. I'm going to tell him that, because they're like, because we don't know how every baby is affected, but we know that some babies are. So like I said, I'm going to tell the doctor, space these shots out as much as possible. If they refuse to do that, I'm getting another pediatrician who is not insubordinate. It's not a doll. It's a baby. Your scientists are still figuring stuff out. I believe in vaccines, y'all. But here's what they're getting. They're getting, y'all. Oh my goodness, I don't think it's recording. I don't think it's recording. When did it stop?